Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dee. And today, unfortunately, we are going to be making a sympathy card. Some family friends have had a death in their family, and these friends have been next door neighbors to my folks for probably 55 years, maybe. And so, anyway, so we are going to be making a sympathy card for them. And it's not, not the most pleasant card to send out, but they're necessary because it conveys our feelings of sorrow with them. And we should be grieving with them, shouldn't we? Okay. Now, I am going to be showing you some new products that I've had on hand for a while, and I bought them on sale, and so we're going to be using those to make our sympathy card today. Okay, the first thing is, I have this Altenew Sulfur Cosmos stamp set, and also that came with it, well, it was part of a bundle, this Sulfur Cosmos stencil set. Now, I don't know if there are dies. I did not get those. There might not be any. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to use these today for our sympathy card. And I also have something else I need to show you that I bought. Now, pardon me, this has a stamp already on it they're going to be using. This is the, let's get it going right side up, shall we? Okay, this is the Altenew StampWheel, and I have had this in my wish list on Altenew's website for probably over a year. And they had a sale. It wasn't like a, door-busting sale, but it was a sale. And so I thought, now's my time. I'm going to buy this. And they also have a 2.0 version, this bigger and such, but I didn't think I needed that. So anyway, we're going to be using this today. And so I think I'll peel this off because I did a little work with the stamp set and the stenciling set because I wanted to make sure I knew where, things were and where they should go and all that stuff. So this is the top of the stamp wheel, and obviously you could see where I have the stamp. And so cardstock down here, stamp, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's do this first. So I have this stamp set, like I said, and we're going to use this big flower stamp set. It's all one piece, as you can tell, and we're going to be doing some coloring, but we're going to do the easy way of coloring, the kind I kind of like, actually. Okay, now, we have on the stamp wheel, we have this little hole, and I'm using that as my top, okay? So let's get this centered on here. Actually, you know what we need to do first is put our cardstock in. Now I have started with, I'm going to be using this yellow cardstock because I was watching Therese from Lost in Paper, one of her latest videos, and she was talking about doing this kind of card making where you have a big stamp set, like florals, and you have stencils that match it, and then you can color with inks and blending brushes to make it go faster. So that's why I thought I would try this today. Now, let's see if we can, actually, you know what I need to do? This is first. So I've got my cardstock in. I'm going to center it, and I want all of it on. So, and then we'll put this on top. See how it has the little areas where this fits in? Whoever designed this was pretty brilliant, I would say. Now, I do have another stamping platform, the Misty, and I'm on my second one. So that shows you how much I love that. But for things like this, this is better. For big stamps, and it's just better. Okay, now, you see what I did? I put it in the position like this. We're not going to keep it like that, obviously. We are going to stamp this, and I'm going to emboss it with embossing ink, and then I will emboss it with a black detail embossing powder, okay? And I'm getting, I wouldn't say low, but for a big stamp like this, it's a lot. I'll tell you, it is a lot. Now, I bought this Wow embossing pad a while ago, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It was sometime after COVID started, and I couldn't get the refill. Now, I have not checked to see if they have the refill available. I haven't used it like often to need it yet, so, but it might be a good idea for me to check. Okay, so now we're going to turn this over, and I've got my top in the center, and we're going to get this. Now, remember, we have our little hockey puck wannabe that we're using to press down, and I use this when I use the Misty too. It just helps the stamp get more contact with the paper. Now, because I'm going to stop a second, because I do not have editing software yet, maybe I will someday, and I'm going to emboss, you know, that's loud, and I will probably do the embossing off camera, but I will show you. Oh my goodness, I forgot to do something. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. It seems like whenever I emboss, I forget. You see this thing? This is a homemade embossing buddy, and it has baby powder in it, and which means a lot of cornstarch. And so you are supposed to use this over your cardstock before you stamp, because when you use embossing powder, a lot of times you get like little strays, and then you have to take a little brush and brush it all off. Well, this helps keep some of that away, and of course I forgot to do it. Okay. Well, oh well. Now I'm going to take this off and just set it aside, and use my nail here to, this is a sticky mat that's underneath here, and it's got good stick. Now I can see, I don't know if you can, I try in the light, see the outline of the embossing ink. So we're going to move this out of the way for a second. And I have some scratch paper here. And we are going to sprinkle this embossing powder. Like I said, this is a big flower, so well, that kind of came out in a big lump, didn't it? Okay, so basically, we need to work on getting this to apply to the other areas that didn't get it. You can see, and if you've done embossing, you know all about this. Now look, this is why I'm frustrated I didn't do the embossing buddy. But we'll try to tap some of that off. Some of it. Sometimes you have to be, it's good to be careful, but sometimes you have to be a little, have to manhandle it just a little more. Now I'm getting this as best I can. If I had a little skinny brush, I could get a little closer. And now I regret that I don't have one. Close to me anyway. Okay, let's see. It even got in the center of the flowers. Naughty, naughty. Okay. I think we're good. Now, I'm going to show you something. I think I'm done with applying the powder, except for maybe this little tiny bit. There, that's good. Now I'll have to do this again. Sometimes you have to put the powder on more than once because it didn't stick quite so well. Oh, look at that. That is, maybe if I tap it like that, Nope. Ah, shoot. Oh, now look what I did. I made a mess. Oh, brother. Okay, now, this is what... I'm going to set this aside for a second. I have a second piece of scratch paper, and if you've not worked with embossing powder, which, you know, I'm guessing most of you have, or maybe all of you, but it's just easier to put it back in the jar when you have a second sheet that will catch. See, it's even kind of sticking to the scratch paper. Now I will do this one more time, and we'll try to get what's left over on the other scratch. See how much was there? Yeah. And as little as I have, really, that's a lot. Okay, now I'm going to get this, and I'm going to just take my brush, and we are going to just scooch it over to the end of the table, which I'm guessing you won't see, but trust me, it's there. And I will do the same thing. I'll just brush it down onto the paper, and now we'll do this one more time. I promise I'll make this the last time. Whatever little bit is on here, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, if you are new here, or if you're relatively new, I do not like waste. That's just, I've always been like that, even as a kid, which seems kind of odd, but anyway. So, I'm going to take this now and wipe that off, because I don't want that to get on anything else. Okay, now we have our panel, and we have our embossing gun. Now, like I said, I am not going to do this on camera because it's loud and it will take a little time. So I'm going to pause the video, and then I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, I am back, and I have it all embossed now. Now you can see, I'm going to try to get the close to the camera as I can. You can see the little speckles. That's why it is very important to use an embossing buddy. And you can buy them, but I learned a long time ago you can just use baby powder or cornstarch. So anyway, I regret that, but oh well. Now, so I guess I'm not going to need this anymore, so I will just put it over here. Now, this is our decorative panel, of course, and we're done with this for now. So I'm going to set this aside. It was aside before, but now we are going to use the stencil set. Now, I'm going to take this out. Oh, well, we will have to get into the stamp set one more time, because I'll show you why in a minute. I ripped this package when I opened it the first time, and boy, that bugged me. Okay, so I'm going to take out all the stencils. And like I said, the Sulfur Cosmos. Now, this has layers, obviously. And if I hold them this way, then we'll have it right set up. Now, I want to show you something. This has, of course, the Altenew brand and the name of the stencil set. It has a number 1, and it has these little lines, and it has like a letter and a number labeling things. All these things are important because it's going to help us place the stencil where it needs to go. All right. And these little etched lines are boundary lines. So that'll make sense as we go. Okay, so this is number 1. So we're going to start with number 1. Okay, now I'm going to get my Misty because I want to stencil in that. Okay. I'm going to get my stuff organized here. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little. Oop, I did it the wrong way again. Okay, hopefully that's not showing too much stuff. Okay, now this came with my, no, maybe I bought this separately. This is a scrapbook.com. It's supposed to be a sticky map, but it lost a sticky a long time ago. But it is helpful to have so I can put my tape on there. So I'm going to center this, and then I'm going to take some washi tape, and I'm going to tape it to that non-sticky sticky mat. Now, something else that is helpful, when you take washi tape or any type of tape and you want to apply it to paper, you put it on your skin or your clothing so that it will take off some of the sticky. Because if you don't, it may rip your cardstock or your paper when you try to take it off. I think I want to do the other two corners, so let's, oh, come on, tape. Well, while I'm working on this, we got snow last night. Only about an inch, and it was enough to make the road slippery. Kurt and I went to a concert last night in one of our local towns, who has a beautiful venue that's used for lots of things, but they have concerts there. And the band is a Christian band called Sidewalk Prophets, and we've seen them before at this same venue. Well, it was fine when we left home, because we are 15 miles from there. And so by the time we left after the concert, it was slippery, like down to 35 miles per hour slippery. I was glad to be home. And I was glad it wasn't any further than 15 miles, because we've had to do that before. Okay, now, just a reminder, number 1. And then we have A1, A2, B1, B2. These will be for the centers. And you can obviously tell these are for the actual florals. Now, I want to show you something that is in here, and I should have just left it out. But, you know, I wanted to show you the whole package. Inside of this stamp set is a layering guide. And this is really helpful. So they're using the layering guide for the stencil set because this came as a set. I don't know if they sell them individually, but I bought mine as a set, quote unquote set. So it comes with these guidelines for the stencil set to be used in coordination with the stamp set, obviously. So here, let's see if I can get it close enough for you to see. Here they tell you this is number 1. And we're going to put the stencil on our design, and it says rotate stencil 10 degrees clockwise for this layer. And then it gives you each of these directions for the rest of them. So we're going to do that. And the reason these other elements on the stencil are important, because if you can see, I hope the camera's picking this up. They have the rest, okay, they have the cutouts for the stencil, of course. And then they have the rest, or at least some important parts of the foliage or the florals that are etched in there, so you have a guideline of kind of where to put it. Okay? Now, this is A1, so we're going to, this part right here, you see the boundary lines? Right there. So we're going to work in here, and we're going to find where that's going to go. This one is going to be right about here. And I am not, this is kind of like matching up puzzle pieces, which I'm not a huge puzzle person, so, okay, you know what? I can either use tape, I think I better use tape. I better do that because I don't want to have any regrets. So, another little sticky. And this time we're going to tape the stencil kind of in place. Okay, now you'll see, well, maybe you can't see, but here I'm going to show you, this is covering both of those flowers. Okay, now we're going to tape this. We're going to tape this here. All right, now I have some inks. My Altenew inks, I'm going to use Chamomile, their fresh dye ink, and Snapdragon. And I'm going to start with Chamomile. All right. And I have my blending brush, just an Amazon blending brush. I have the Gina K, a set of Gina K ones, but for some reason, it's like they're too precious to use. I don't know why. That's really silly. But because I paid more for them than I did these. Okay, now we're going to, okay, boundary line. I'm not going beyond this, and I'm not going beyond this, okay? So we're just going to get these. And by the way, I'm starting with yellow cardstock because I'm going to be using these kind of yellowy, orangey colors. And that's one thing Therese mentioned was if you start with yellow cardstock, then you're already one step ahead of the game with coloring, because some of the design is going to look colored already because it has the color cardstock. Okay. I'm just going to set that there. Okay. Now that is A1. Now, A2, we're going to rotate it counterclockwise 10 degrees. Now, I'm not that great with math or whatever, so I'm really going to use these etched lines here to help me position this. Okay? So, and we've got the center here. So, that's not right. Okay, now we're getting closer. Because I'm kind of comparing both of these together. Okay, they said counterclockwise, didn't they? That's this way. Okay, somehow I'm not getting this position right, but that should be there. Sorry while you're watching me struggle. But, you know, oh, here we go. I just had to push it up a little more. Okay. Did I tell you I'm not that great at puzzles? Okay, now I'm going to set this over here because our tape will have to move. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the Chamomile ink again. And anyway, we got about 1 inch of snow last night. Everything is fresh and clean looking and white, and oh, it's so pretty. I love snow. If you have not watched me before, I absolutely love snow. As long as I don't have to drive in it. Now remember, boundary line. Don't go beyond that. Because we have other things here that will be stenciling, but not at this point. Okay. Okay. Now, let's lift this up. Can you see already? We're making progress, aren't we? Now, I believe I should do these right now. Okay, so this is B1 and B2. So we're going to match these up. And I don't think I'll tape this. Now, I am going to use the Snapdragon for this one, because the centers tend to be darker. I will use the same ink blending brush though. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, so pretty. Now, that's what this one is. Now we need to match this one. Okay, so we're going to go over here. They did not give guidelines for that, but I mean, if I can figure it out, then I think anybody can. So, oh, that's so pretty, isn't it? Whew, I love that. Okay, now let's set that aside because we're done with that one. And we'll go on to number 2. Okay, so we've got, of course, we've got our layering guide, and they tell us here what to do and which direction to rotate and what degrees. Like I said, I don't know how much 10 degrees is or 12 degrees is. That's the part of math I did not get. Okay, so let's do this one first, because this is A3 and this is A4. And the boundary line, okay? Okay, so I'm going to use the etching part as my guide. And hopefully... There we go. Okay, that is pretty close. All right. So let's tape that. And I'm choosing not to tape. Let's see, where'd that other piece go? Huh. I might have to tear off another. Maybe it fell on the floor. Because there were 4. Never mind. You don't care. Okay. Let's tape this right here. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Chamomile. Okay? And remember, stay within our boundaries. Unfortunately, this is an area of the flower that got the black speckles from the embossing powder. Okay, now this shifted just a little bit, so I'm gonna bring it back where it needs to be here. And I'll just have to hang on to it. All right. Well, the concert last night was very good. Sidewalk Prophets, if you're interested, check them out. And they did actually an acoustic concert because the venue that I was talking about earlier is not big enough for like a huge big concert, which they do. But anyway, so it was strictly 2 of the guys. There's 5 guys, I think, in the band. 2 of the guys, and they had a piano and some guitars. And I love that. Kurt plays a guitar, and I love it when he plays, which he doesn't do very often. I need to get on him to do that. Now, let's go ahead and tape this. Okay, now we're still going to use the Chamomile, and I'm keeping in mind my boundary line because we have other stencils here that have nothing to do with the floral, the petals, I should say. Oh boy, that black is really showing up. We don't want it to look like it's dying, do we? Shoot. I wish I could scrape it off, but I think I'm just going to have to live with it. And keep an eye where the edge is. Okay, now we're done with this. All right, now I believe I can set this aside. So we're going on to the next stencil. Now the next one has the foliage, okay? And it gives just a diagram of where you should put it. So since I've done this already, I kind of, whoop, as she says, and puts it in the wrong spot. Okay, now, this is D1 and the boundary line, and D2. Okay, I just want to point that out again. And now we are done with the orange colors, and we're going to use Misty Sage and Green Opal, okay? And of course use a different blending brush, my green one. And put the yellow one back. Okay, now I need to be careful because this little area, this little hole is very close to the edge. So and we've got this. And keeping in mind, stay out of the boundary. Stay within the boundary, I should say. Now, let's look at that. It's pretty light, so maybe the Misty Sage color was not the best. We'll do the green opal and see how we get along. Okay, and this will give me a little more practice getting this lined up. Let's see, there's two little stems, and I keep putting the shorter one over on the longer one. That does not work. Okay. I'm just going to hold it. Okay. Okay, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Boundaries are good. In more than one way. Okay. Oh, now we have to do D2. Okay. Now, they're giving the etching for the stem, so I have an idea where this needs to go. All right. And then we'll get these other ones. I don't think I'll even use the Misty Sage. I think I'm going to just do the, what was that? Green opal. Okay. Okay. Let's lift this up and see. Aha! Now, guys, it's soft. And that's the look that I want anyway. So if this was white cardstock, this green ink would show up a lot better. Okay? Now, we also have C1 and C2. And I'm guessing, and I didn't use those, so I'm not sure, because I used the other, let me. Nope, that's not it. I set it aside. Where'd I set it? Oh, over here. I used the B1 and B2. And if I look at these, D, get it together. Where is that one? Oh. You guys are going to think I'm wagon. Okay. I'm not sure what the difference is here, but I guess I won't worry about it. I'm not going to use it. So we are technically done with our stenciling. Oh, maybe it goes here. Okay, you know what? That's for another time. Another use of this, because obviously this will not be the last time I use this. Such a pretty set. I kind of, when I use florals in my card making, I like to look up to see what the flowers mean. And these maybe don't quite go with a sympathy card, but boy, it's pretty. And I don't know if a lot of people pay attention to what flowers mean, but Sulfur Cosmos was supposed to stand for new beginnings and happiness, basically. So that really doesn't apply to a sympathy card, but I'm just not going to worry about that. I love the set and I wanted to use it, so we're just doing it. Okay, Misty's put away. Now we have our other elements to our card. I have and this is a 5x7 card base. I don't use those very often, but I'm doing it today because, again, the stamp set is big. This calls for a larger card. So I actually have a black panel here. I hardly ever do this, but I'm doing it today. And so, I don't have a, hang on. Okay, I just had to get another piece of scratch paper because I don't like gluing on my bare table that Kurt worked so hard at years ago. Okay. Glue, don't fail me now. Don't fail me now. Okay. I gotta figure out, because I ordered 2 different sets of these refillable, disposable glue bottles, because I lost the first set. And then I ordered a second set that I thought were the same, and they are not. They clog. And I think I did find the originals, by the way. But I don't know which bag is which. Doesn't help any, does it? Okay, let's get this on here. And I cut a quarter inch smaller than the card base. So that's kind of the border I like to have. Some people do an 1/8 of an inch border, and that's totally fine. But I like a quarter inch. Now we will glue this. This is pretty light cardstock too. But once you get it layered, and the black is light, but once you get it layered, it strengthens the card. Okay, time out. I think the glue bottle needs a timeout. Let's get this. I've got this pin that I keep nearby I keep missing the hole. That's because it's so clogged with glue. Can't tell where the hole is. Okay, let's start again. Come on. It's not so cold in here it doesn't want to come out, so it can't be that. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Pause. Okay, I'm back. I think the glue is done being in timeout. Oh man, that is... I didn't think it was that cold in here to make it be stiff. Maybe it's the bottle. Maybe it's just the bottle's fault. Whew. Okay. We are going to put this on here now and try to center as best I can. All right. Now, before I put the sentiment on, I'm just going to do a quick stamping. If you're new, this is what I always love to do. I have this handcrafted with love stamp that I put on the back of my cards. And then I sign my name. Like that. Okay. So let's get that out of the way because it'll be easier to stamp when there's not anything sticking up on the top. Okay. Now, I have a piece of scrap. Oh, that kind of got wrinkled. Okay. It's kind of, it's not white, pure white. It's kind of like a very, very, very light ecru. Okay. And we are going to stamp a sentiment on here from the stamp set. So let's get that out again. And this stamp set has a lot of sentiments, but I thought I would use the Sunny Hugs and Love stamp for this sympathy card. Whoop. And I think I'll just use, yeah, I think it'll be okay. I was hemming and hawing for a second because if I don't use my Misty, I could run into a little stamping issue. But let's just do this. And this is Altenew's Crisp Ink and Permanent Black. Pretty good ink. Now let's center this. And I cut it so that it would... Now the thing about stamping sentiments is you don't put as much pressure usually as when you do when you do a regular, like when we did the flowers, I apply pressure because words can kind of get fuzzy if you press too hard, for lack of a better term. So, okay, now I'm going to look at this and I think I'm going to take this Snapdragon and we are going to brush a little bit of a border around it. So I'm going to get that blending brush out. And this is so easy to do. Sometimes you have to be careful that it doesn't, like, you know, go way beyond where you want it around the outside. And when we're done, then we will glue it to the card. Just so it has a little bit of definition. You know, when you put on makeup, it's important to have some definition, especially with your eyes. If you're like me, you've lost, your eyes have gotten smaller and harder to see. It's good to have a little definition. Okay, so I am going to get a scrap to kind of give it a little dimension. I'll be right back. Okay, I have this scrap, and we are going to kind of just eyeball this. And we're going to glue it on there. Hope I didn't leave that pin out of there too long. There we go. Show it some muscle. This will just give a little bit of added dimension. I don't know if I'm going to put any sequins or anything else on there. I don't know. I just have this thing about sympathy cards. If it's too blinged up, it just seems like it's like you're insincere. I don't know. Don't want it to be too fancy. That might be a me thing. If you like to do that, then go for it. That's just my personal thing. Okay, let's hold that down. And I believe we will be done. And let's see where I'm at on time. Oh my goodness! I think this is one of my longest videos yet. And I do apologize for that. Okay, this is our sympathy card using the Altenew Sulfur Cosmos stamp set and stencil set. Love it. All right. I hope you guys have a blessed week. If you like this video, please like it. If you wouldn't mind sharing it with a friend, I'd appreciate that too. And comment. I'd love to hear what you think about this card. And subscribe. Why not? It's totally free. Take care, guys. Bye.